Good evening, students, teachers, and parents of Kuthari International School, Pune. Welcome to session 2 of Expert Talk series. We are glad and privileged to present our speaker expert for the evening, Ms. Habiba Kudrati, who joins us from Mumbai. She has a master's in developmental and career counseling. She's got postgraduate diploma in school counseling. She has a rich exposure in applying cognitive behavior therapy for lifestyle modification. She's even got expertise in rational emotive behavior therapy with children as well as adults. She's a relationship consultant and provides counseling to couples. And she's got expertise in applying transactional analysis for counseling and training programs. Feeling Minds is her own creation, and she's a career guidance and counseling expert there. And indeed, we are privileged to have you with us, Habiba, today. She's been associated with the Kothari School, Pune, and with the students of our high school from grades 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 in the last academic year where we've been running a beautiful program to help them deal with their emotions in the adolescent years. And today I'm so glad, Habiba, that you've spared this 1 hour with us and have a heart to heart conversation to enlighten the parents, because the topic that we've chosen today is conscious parenting and crafting your child's emotional well being. So, Habiba, my first question to you is, what does a child go through being under solitary confinement, that we see them now in their homes for more than 3 months? No peer socialization, no emotional interaction, no scope rather to connect with the world outside, and it's just a few members of the family, and mostly they're staying in nuclear families. So, what is the child going through, Habiba?
Okay. So, Ishita, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me on board. It's wonderful once again to connect with the Kuthari International School. Um, well, this COVID time, this pandemic time, when there is so much of uncertainty around us, there is so much of stress around us. Uh, we probably think that children are the least affected in this because for them it's holiday time, no school, they always wanted that, being at home, studying as per their convenience, everything suits their way. They don't have any stress. What is the stress that children have apart from
Correct.
the thing that they're being at home? And
True.
well, if they're being at home, they have so much of distraction. So they have their mobiles, they have their computers, they have socializing with friends on Zoom calls and everything. So I think that children are least affected. Okay, so this is what parents generally feel, that what is the stress that a child faces, right?
True.
Uh, I differ out here, okay? And before even I go a little further on what a child would face, let's get on to one thing, which is conscious parenting,
Hmm.
okay? Before I even get to explain what is conscious parenting, I just feel that first, the first conscious effort of every parent should be that I do not want to be a perfect parent.
Right.
There is no term like perfect parenting.
Yes.
We all are humans. We all are going to make mistakes, and we are going to learn from our mistakes, right? That's what we teach our children also, right? That it's okay to make
Absolutely.
mistakes. We
Absolutely.
will make mistakes, but it's not okay not to learn from our mistakes, right?
Yes. Yes.
So the first conscious effort as parents you all are going to make is that there is not going to be any perfect parenting out here. There is nothing called perfect parenting. There is going to be just parenting, right? And when I say parenting, I again want to emphasize on the fact that I am not saying it's mothering or fathering. I'm saying it's parenting. I mean that both the parents are equally involved in the parenting process. It's
True.
not a one person's job at all, right? And anyways, now because of the pandemic, we have again come to the understanding that there is no role as a woman's role and a man's role out here. We all are sharing responsibilities. So, well, let's share the parenting responsibility also, right? So
Yeah.
that's one thing. Now, what are the emotions the child is going through? They can be distinguished in various stages, right?
Okay.
So let's break it into three. Okay, so there are going to be toddlers. Okay, there are going to be kids who are going to be aged 4 years to, let's say, 6 years. I'm just calling them on one set of things. What are they experiencing?
Hmm.
They are experiencing what you are experiencing.
All
They
right.
are seeing what you are facing. So if you're stressed, they believe this is a stressful situation. I also need to get stressed. They see you getting angry without any reason. They feel that, oh my God, there's something wrong. That means even I need to get angry without reason. It's okay. Right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
for nothing, as toddlers, they are just modeling you. The
Hmm.
way you are behaving, they're going to behave exactly the same thing. Okay,
Hmm.
so they are
Hmm.
not facing anything like peer pressure, they are not facing anything like boredom, because they would anyways be at home. Okay, so it's
Yeah.
nothing. Okay, so what they are facing is what you are facing. So if you are
Right.
going to be irrational in front of them, they are going to sense fear because they don't
Hmm.
see you irrational, right?
True.
If they're
True.
seeing you getting worked up, they are also going to feel the same, right? So that is a set of emotions that a toddler goes through,
Hmm.
right? Now, after that, we come to the age group of 7 to 11.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 7 to 11, they are initially enjoying their freedom. Okay,
Okay.
they are happy, they find themselves getting into the zone of doing things the way they want to. But when they don't have structure, then they're disorganized, and when they're disorganized, they are destructive.
All right.
Destructive with their behavior, they're destructive with their thoughts,
Right.
right? So there will be some children who will be jumping all around the house, and there will be some children who will be just sitting in one place and not doing anything, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Think of ways and means how to get your attention because they're not getting enough of it,
Hmm.
right? They are manipulating the environment as per their convenience.
Hmm. Hmm.
So of course, they are also modeling it, but not as what the toddlers would model, but it's a little lesser than that, right?
Right.
So these are the two age groups which only will get affected if you are getting affected.
Hmm. Hmm.
If you are displaying it that is bothering you, they will also get bothered.
True.
Now we get to the major chunk, which is called the adolescence chunk. Okay,
Hmm.
that is from age group 12 to 16, 17, 18. Okay, they are going through a series of uncertainty.
Hmm.
Okay, what do teenagers like, Ishita? What do they like? They want answers to each and every question.
Yeah.
And we don't have answers to their questions because we don't have the answers to the questions. It's not that we don't want to give it to them, right?
Yes. Yeah.
They are facing this uncertainty, this they're facing anger, frustration. It's an amalgamation of everything, right? So there is this fear whether what is my life going to get? Okay. There is this anger that whatever I had planned, things are not going as per my plans.
Yes.
Right? So life is miserable. Okay, they have access to all the type of news, so they feel the world is coming to an end. We are all going to die,
Yes.
right? Now the other aspect is that they can sense your understanding that there is uncertainty, there is financial crunch, there is no direction to anything, there is danger everywhere, right? So they feel that, oh, what if I get it, what if I die, what will happen if my mother dies, what happens if my father dies, right?
True. True.
Exposure to all these thoughts, everything that you're facing they're also facing, right? But we as adults have the privilege, or we feel that we have the access to feel that ways, and we are justified to feel that way, but they are not justified to feel that way,
Right. Right.
right?
Right.
So for us it is basically accepting that yes, they could also get anxious. Now, for example, I'll give you an example of my son who's in the grade 10. Okay, He's in grade 10, ICSE exam. Four papers are not given. Okay. Now, every sixth day, he lashes out at somebody in the house. Okay. Either he will get angry, either he will be lashing out at my daughter, he will lash out at me, or he will just quietly not speak anything for the day. So, what is it that he's going through? There is anger, that why is it, because of course, see, when you're in grade 10 and when you have a lot of dreams that after my boards what am I going to do, right?
True.
So there's this whole thing which has crumbled down. Okay, we all have crumbled down saying that okay, fine, my dreams are all over and I don't look at this ever ending. Okay,
True.
there is uncertainty as to when will I have to give my papers,
Yes.
I have to study, what is my future, where does my future get on to. Okay, so
Yes.
there is complete uncertainty about that. There is frustration because I am not meeting my friends, there is no social circle around me, it's all my
Absolutely.
family, my parents, my sister. I'm sick of seeing you all. So once he actually told
Absolutely.
me that I'm sick of seeing you all,
True.
right? But it's fair, right? I generally tell my husband also that I'm sick of seeing your face, right? Of course, it's not that way. But if your child tells you that I'm sick of seeing you, it is look like
Yeah.
a big disaster. That how is my child telling me something like that?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So this is not something which we are ready to accept. So
Mm.
we need to first understand that if you want to change anything, you'll have to first acknowledge it. So be
Yes.
okay that your child is not okay because the
Yes.
symptoms are not okay,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's the three ways, where they will show the way they will show their emotional distress. And their emotional distress is all fear, all emotions related to negative emotions. Okay, there is no
Yes.
happiness, there is no wow moments or aha moments for them. It's all based on,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. So if we understand correctly, Habiba, in stage three, where a parent need to accept being the conscious parent, that my teenager child who has his independent ego, his self identity, and is facing that social crisis of connecting with the world, achieving his dreams, is now venting it out and needs to vent it out. And let me accept it before I can handle it is the first step of acceptance. And for that child who's below age 12 or 14 and is emulating the parent or role modeling or mirroring the parent, for that parent, the consciousness is be conscious about how do you react to world situation when you watch the news, when you discuss things over at your dining table. Do not be reactive, always have hopes, positivity around, because the child's belief system is getting formulated accordingly. And there is this little one who doesn't understand or is not at all bothered about how the world is. For him, it's the comfort of the parents. So if emotionally the parents are very stable, they are very comfortable, then the child is also very comfortable, stable, and is a happy child, right? So it
Yes.
is such a diverse thing. And sometimes, Habiba, in one home you have all three kind of children to one single mother and father, giving
Yes.
three different roles to the toddler, to the younger child, as well as to the teenager who's throwing tantrums. And more often what we see is the younger child emulating the elder brother or sister, because there's a tantrum throwing and there is an emulation which is much more dominant, right? So
Yes.
now comes your help and assistance. Now I guess now the parents and our viewers must have understood that these are absolutely three areas which do not have they do have some common factors, but largely the approach to handling is different. Now tell us, where does the handling begin
Okay, so
and
the
how?
handling begins by go backwards. Okay,
Right.
it's was from toddlers to teenagers. Okay, when it's handling, it's from teenagers to toddlers. Okay,
Right.
toddlers will automatically get handled. Okay, if you handled yourself, if you handled your teenage child, the toddler automatically is handled, right?
Right.
So the the One who's very reactive are your adolescents, right? So they
Yes.
are as good as your companion, okay? Wherein you will need assistance, and you will need to assist them, and you will need their assistance to shape your other children.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So you pick it up and you say, yes, I understand that you are going through this. And even I'm going through this, right? But by understanding that and by reacting, is our situation actually changing? Are we able to change our situation? So if okay, if by reacting, if the situation is changing, then please go ahead and react. But if it's not changing, do we really need to react? Because there is somebody who's modeling us,
Right.
and we as a team can either act as a positive, have a positive impact on them, or be a negative influencer. So what do you think we should be doing now? The see, now this is my catch line. What did I say? What do you think we should be doing? Okay, the focus is we. Okay, it's not I. Okay, so I generally tell parents that move from the telling mode to the asking mode. Okay, ask your child, that teenager, put him into that power, saying that, you know what, if you're going to behave like this, do you think it will have an impact on him? Do you think he's imitating us when he's behaving like this? Now, I am really finding it very difficult. How I am going to correct this? Can you show me how we can correct this together? So make it as a teamwork instead of looking at it that, okay, listen, you know what? You are doing this. Your younger one is imitating you. This is not the way you're going to live in my house. And then it's going to become a power struggle.
Right.
And he's saying, then the child will get up and say that, listen, I'm not the father or the mother of the child. You are there. Please look after him. Right?
Hmm.
You don't want that. You don't want that.
Right.
Right? You want this to unite as a family unit. You don't want it to be, I am the dictator and I'm going to do things the way I am. Right? And we also don't need to get submissive with what the teenagers say. So that's another point that I've seen. Parents act in two extreme directions. Either they react or then they become submissive.
Yes.
So then they be very careful. You know what? He's very disturbed. He's very disturbed. Let's not touch him. You know how it
Yeah.
goes? And we start over pampering, and then the child, the toddler, will
Yes.
understand, you know
Yes.
what? You need to behave just like this because mama and papa are
Correct.
giving all attention to him because he's
True.
behaving like this. Right?
True. True.
So this is how you're going to deal with the situation. Okay. You have to get the most difficult child your partner.
Hmm.
Team up with him.
Correct.
The moment you team up, you won the battle.
Yeah.
So teaming.
So what are the teaming up tactics that you can share?
So one is that you become the one who is seeking help.
All right.
Put them in control.
All right.
Okay. Get on to the we aspect. Can we do this? Do you think we can get this done like this? What
Hmm.
is your thought about it? Do
Hmm.
you have any other way we can do this?
Hmm.
It is not that do you have any other way you can do it. No, is there any other way we can do it? That we always has to be there. The we can't go away,
Hmm.
right? So if there is the we, he will feel that I'm not alone. First and foremost,
Hmm.
that teenager also needs to know that I'm not the alone one who's facing all this.
True.
Right? There are everybody else who's facing this way, and we have to get over with it all together. It's not any
Hmm.
one person's job, right?
Hmm.
This is how we are going to team up with that person.
Yes.
So it's very simple. Just put your I put parents, put your egos aside. Okay, how if you want something from your husband and how you can get things out of him, na? And how if your husband wants to get things out of you, how the same way is your teenage child right now, and if you want things happening your way, you will first have to bend their way. So
Okay.
give and take.
So that's the trick, viewers, that you first befriend your difficult child and then take the partnership to role model to the younger one. All right. Now, coming to allowing children to vent out. You gave a personal experience, and all of us, have teenage children at home, and we feel there are times when they will go into complete seclusion, or they will have a loud vent out. Okay,
Right.
so how do we allow, because I think this is also necessary, because if they don't do it in their own homes with their own
Yes.
families, then where do we do? Okay, so we
Hmm.
cannot discourage the emotional vent out at all. We allow it, right? But how do we walk the child through this vent out? At teenage level, it happens in a different way. Again, in the absolute childhood level, it happens in a different way, because maybe the child is not able to go burn out his energy, play, and all that. So he has a cranky mood, right? So,
Hmm.
how does the parent allow a much more structured vent out, and his own emotions, or the mother's own emotions, how it shouldn't come in the way, because that
Hmm.
can aggravate the problem again, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So give us some view on that.
Okay, so I'll share again my personal example on this. Okay, how do I help my teenage child to vent out? Okay, first, if my child is in a distress and he's acting up, okay, he's acting out of something. Okay, first I back out.
All
First
right.
step is back out. Okay, let him do what he wants to do. Okay, because then there will come a time when he will stop doing that. Okay, so he will shout, he will yell, but then there will be a time when he'll just slouch and he'll sit and he won't do anything. I just go to him and I tell him that if there's anything you need to talk about, I'm there. Right now, here is where the parents, I have generally seen in my practice, I've seen parents making that mistake. Okay, we want to know, why are you upset?
Correct.
I don't need to know why you're upset. I'm just telling you, if you need help, I'm there. If you need somebody to talk to, I'm there. Right? So I give an example, okay, which will make this, which people will resonate with it, okay, that if suppose your child has got hurt and has bruised his hand, what is the first thing that you will do?
Hmm.
You put medicine and band-aid it, right? Or are you going to ask, listen, how did you fall down? How did you get hurt out here? How is there so much blood coming out?
But out of conditioning, generally you see parents generally do this.
Yes, but
Okay.
that's not actually what you need to do, right? The
Hmm.
first
Hmm.
thing is to give that child help,
Hmm.
right? We want to know why, and that's very important for us, right? So if your child has been upset and has gone into the room and locked himself in the room, okay, you're going to be standing at the door, banging at the door, and saying, "Will you open the door? Let me know what you're doing. Why are you upset?" It's okay. He needs that me time. Okay. You just need to tell him that I'm there. If you need something, I'm there. Just give that emotional support that if you need something, I'm there. Okay. Initially, the child will never tell you what is the problem. Okay.
Okay.
So that's not even one of my reasons where I want to know what is the problem. Okay. So if he doesn't come to you and ask for help and says that no, there's nothing, just give me some time, leave me alone. Okay, left him alone. I wait for some more hours to pass by. Okay, and then I go back and say that either we talk about the problem, okay, or else we behave as if nothing's happened. If you think you can sulk, and if you think that it's okay for me to see you sulking and not respond, then that's not possible for me.
Right.
So it's something which I feel that it's my challenge, it's not yours. I can understand that's not your challenge, but it's my challenge, right? So for me it's difficult to see you sulking, and not being able to help you when I know I
Hmm.
can do you just want to share so I can share my perspective? You might not want to do it, you might not understand it, but there's no harm in listening, right?
Right.
Okay.
True.
So at that point of time the child will tend to open up.
True.
Okay, right? And then you say that, do you think that if this way of yours is helping you to get better, what can I do to make you feel better?
Hmm.
Okay, so again we are not asking him what is the problem, I'm just asking him what can I do to make you feel better.
Right.
Okay, So he will say that, okay, I don't want to talk about it, mom, right now. I want my space. I
Hmm.
said, fair enough. So till dinner, will that space be okay?
Hmm.
Will I get my son back by dinner? So
Beautiful.
it's a yes or it's a no. Okay.
Correct. Hmm.
It's a no. That means that you don't know how to deal with his son. So you need help,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? And then we will have to have a conversation,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? So very gradually, I have built that trust that I'm not trying to invade your privacy,
Hmm.
but I am just trying out of my concern to help you.
Hmm.
You know, so that's just step by step. You need to go
Yeah.
into their space,
Hmm.
right? So
Hmm.
this is how you're going to deal with adolescence. Okay,
Very
this is
true.
how you deal with adolescence. How do
True.
you deal with children of less means below 11 years of age? Okay, even they are
Yeah.
going through some emotional distress. How do you deal with their emotional distress, right? So
Hmm.
a simple way is that either there are three ways. Okay, one is that you try, you know the problem, that this is the problem. Okay, the problem is that the child is getting irritated because I he has to do something which he does not like. Okay,
Right.
sometimes you just have to have a conversation with your husband, with the child being over there, not directing the conversation to your child.
Okay.
Okay, so you're saying that, when one of the parents says, that it's really very difficult, to hold on your head, and it's very difficult to uh, go to online classes and sit and do homework at home, because and do classwork at home with no structure is so difficult, and all the children are finding it difficult. And when the mother says, no, but you know what, my son, so if I say my son's name is Yash, okay, but Yash can manage it really beautifully. I'm so
Yes.
amazed with the way he manages it,
Hmm.
right? So he's got that thing that I can manage it,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? So now he will only automatically manage it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
See, they all like challenges. The moment you put them on a challenge, they are like, yippee.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think you can do it. Or
Hmm.
really, I'll show you that I can do it.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
That's
So
teenage. That's teenage.
that's the issue, so that's a whole thing, and again, with even with children below 11, okay, never use negative phrases to correct them, to tell them, that don't do this, okay, uh, you have to do this. These are all irrational statements which we pass on them, right?
Yes.
Instead of telling them, is there any better way we can do this? Like, basically, with children of all age group, when we use the word we and we say that we are all together into it, they get into the whole zone of it.
True. True.
So this is how you can go in their zones of discomfort at this moment.
So, if I can take home one point here is the parent has to move out from the control mechanism completely, whether to support him in the venting out process, whether to resolve it and give him some positive guidelines. It has to be in a partnership process, come out of the role, keep your own emotions, egos, the parent command, all those things aside, right?
Yes.
And deal with the child as if he is you're empathetic towards him. If you're empathizing, you will understand why is he speaking the way is he speaking, and not like, oh, how could it happen, I have not nurtured you thus, and it never happened in our family last time, it was something like this, we dealt it in our times like this, and your times you are so privileged, yet you feel bored, yet you do this, yet you do that. I think these are just kind of blockages which we have to remove. All right.
Yes.
And then only we can sustain the dialogue, because as you said, the dialogue is very necessary, and very beautifully you gave that example where a timeline also has to be framed, whether
Yeah.
by dinner time or next day breakfast. that has
Yes.
to be very democratically framed, not like, within an hour I need you to have a conversation with me, right? So it has to be done in a very affirmative, yet in a very democratic way, both with both ends. Only
Yes.
then the trust factor can be gained. Would
Yes.
you also like to tell us, Habiba? Now, it is only this is only a standalone situation we just assessed, where under the pandemic children are locked down. Now,
Yes.
there has to be a consistency in the approach of the parent talking in this way with the child. If you had a completely different kind of a parenting style, all right, and today suddenly you're being very empathetic, how much time would you take to gain trust? Maybe in your case it was easy because the boy would agree to have a conversation by dinner time. In
Yes.
another parent's case, he may just not agree even after a week, because
Yes.
there is a trust factor issue. All
Yes.
right. So, would you like to give an example here and tell our viewers as to what is that thing where a consistent parenting can be brought in and this trust could have been pre-established?
Okay, so I'll give you an example of one of my cases that had come to me, okay, where the parents were very authoritative,
All
okay,
right.
teenage child, and the teenage child came to me as a rebel, okay, that I will not do anything that my parents say, okay. So if they tell me not to smoke, I will smoke.
Okay.
Okay, everything that they say, I'm going to do exactly the opposite of it, right? So they came and they came to me very distressed, saying that we don't know where we have gone wrong, okay, so our parenting something has gone wrong, and that is why this is a disaster, okay. So first, I would say that it's not a disaster. Okay. And as parents, on a conscious level, we would never want to do anything that would harm our child. No parent does that. Right. So stop getting onto that guilt trip that you have done something wrong. Right. So that is one thing which I would never want any parent to get into. So what happened was that I told the parent that if so the child would connect with me, but would not be open to connect with the parents because they said that they are never going to understand. They've never understood me. What makes you think that they will now understand? Right? So, of course, with such dynamics, okay, there's one thing that the parent has to go on trying without giving up. Okay, so the parent has to make the child understand first that yes, I'm sorry, I have made a mistake.
Right.
I missed out connecting with you. I have been very harsh with you, but I want to change, right? And I'm trying my level best, and I hope one day you will be able to see that.
Hmm.
Okay. So, first is your acceptance that yes, I have not been able to connect with you, but yes, I would want to connect with you. Can you give me a chance?
Yes.
Right. So, the first step is that. Now, if suppose one day you say this and the next day your child does something and you give him one whack, you've lost. You've
Yeah.
lost it. And I'm sure the parent does it only out of habit. But
Yes.
again, that's where conscious parenting comes, right? That you have to control your subconscious actions and get on to very consciously say, okay, I'm getting annoyed. I rather walk out of this situation before I blast on him.
Right.
Because he's going to test you every minute. Because he wants to prove it wrong to you that you don't want to connect with me. Okay, these are all your fake promises that you're making to me. So there's no connect that's happening with you and me, right? So it is consistent effort, and consistently you will have to. The child will push you to give up, but you don't give up.
Right.
So how badly you want to connect with your child is important.
Yes. That's really nice. As in, now this is the most difficult age group where the venting out it can be like does I would say rather derived. But let's look at the much easier age group, but because of lack of awareness or old parenting styles, because I have been brought up this way, and what how wrong have we been? We've been just fine with a or a slap or a command or being under the thumb of our parents. So
Right,
why not bring up my child the same way? All right. Or in the extreme, the other end of the spectrum could be like, over pampering and
yeah,
giving them everything which you're not supposed to,
right,
under the consideration that, oh, I have been deprived, so let me kind of furnish it for him and her. All right. So
right.
now tell me, in the lower age groups, the pre-primary classes, the primary classes, how would a parent? There also venting out is very necessary. The
Right.
child needs to vent out his emotions. How would the parent assist or handhold or intervene? How would that happen?
Okay, so what happens at the younger age group? How do they vent out? Okay, they vent out through play.
Hmm.
Okay, so if you know that your child is very angry at that moment, okay, you have a simple crayon scribbling competition. Who scribbles the most? Okay, whose hand stops first? Okay, that's one way. Okay, have another one which is a fun play. Have a pillow fight.
Right.
Okay, other thing is by telling them, can you tell me two things you don't like about me, and I'm going to tell you two things that you don't like about me. Right, making a behavior chart at home wherein not only the child's behavior wants needs to be corrected, but even you tell them about your one behavior which needs to be corrected. Right, so I say that for this 1 week I am not going to shout at you without any solid reason. Okay, for example. Okay, so that's something which I will do it for 1 week. Tell me what is it that you will do for 1 week. Right, if the child is very happy, okay, and is running and coming and telling to you, okay, take a pause from your work and listen to the child
Right.
instead of saying okay, 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 yeah, 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 I saw it, and when you've not even seen it. Right, so these are small small things that you will do. Instead of thinking that I want to spend quantity time with my child, let it be quality time with your child. Right, let it just be just doing nothing but playing games, doing nothing but just sleeping and hugging your child.
Right.
Right, uh, if you're scared, if you're there's fear inside you, and just hugging your child and telling your child it's going to be okay. You feel your child being very frightful. Okay, now with small children there are few cues that you get. Okay, especially in the pandemic time we've seen, okay, that the child starts hiding behind you. Okay, this child has all of a sudden become a very timid child, doesn't want to express much of the emotions. Okay, these are cues that your child is going through a lot of emotional distress.
True.
Your child is unnecessary shouting and screaming. So any extreme emotions, okay,
Hmm.
any extreme emotions, whether it's emotions, excitement emotions, sadness emotions, any extreme emotions is not healthy. A balanced emotion is always very healthy.
Hmm. Hmm. and
So
and that you said much would be mirroring the adults also in the household
yes, of
for this
course,
age group. Hmm.
exactly, of course. So it's about how I'm talking with my wife, how am I talking with my husband, how am I seeing that both of them are doing the work together.
Yeah. Hmm.
So normally they never do it together, but during the pandemic they're doing together. So that means that the situation needs everybody to work together,
Hmm.
right? So if you say that okay, fine, Papa's job is to do the utensils, Mama's job is to cook food, and your job is to see that all your toys are in its place, you know.
Right.
Then have a chart kept out there saying that okay, fine, let's see, we'll put a tick whoever's done the work. So that constantly reminds them that yes, I need to do this work, and we are together in all this.
Absolutely.
So getting involved with each other is very, very important, because
Hmm.
what has happened with this pandemic, that your house has become your workplace. It's everything, so
Yes. Yes.
there is no constraint of there is no space sign that okay, this is my workplace, this is my rest place, this is my me place. There's nothing like this. Everybody's everywhere, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
then going to be able to find that solace. And the key to handle your child is that please handle yourself first.
Yes, that's most important.
Very important. If you know how to handle yourself, handling the child will become a little more easier than expected.
So, when you say this, I just want to ask you a question. Is
Hmm.
it all right for a parent to also vent out his emotions in front of the child very transparently, very honestly? Because
Yes.
most of the time, parents don't do that because they have this guilt feeling that if I'm in pain, I mustn't share. If I have exuberance of, happiness or thrill, I mustn't, because then he will take things very easy. So we have that kind of a conditioning where, again, we as parents are very conscious about our emotions, being very transparent, and that somehow transcends down to the child when he's growing up as well, right? So give us some thoughts of yours. How do you see parents doing that, and what's your advice for that?
Okay, so you know what happens? Parents will not show emotions of love in front of their children, but anger is displayed very well in front of them.
Absolutely.
Okay, so if I want to fight with my wife, I will never close the door and fight with my wife, right? But if I want to go and hug and kiss my wife, I will go and close the door behind it,
Correct.
right? So that means that anger can be displayed, but happiness cannot be displayed.
Yes.
That's what we are telling the child, isn't it?
Right.
Right?
Right.
This is something which we have to accept, and this is something which I would recommend parents to do, is that if you feel a particular emotion, it's okay to show that in front of your child, but at least see to it that it's age appropriate. Okay, so I would share a joke out here. One of my sessions, I parenting sessions, I just said this, and that woman came to me the next session, and I said that, ma'am, please don't say such things. My husband just pounced on me in front of my son. I said, okay, it never meant that ways. I never meant to say that, you need to show extraordinary emotions. Okay, even anger. In a fact, if you're very angry with your wife, you will not show it in front of your child, right? If you're extremely overjoyed and you're feeling too romantic, yet you will never show it in front of your child, right? It's all age appropriate, right? Or you will get a teenager embarrassed if you try to do something like that.
True.
Isn't it? So it is about displaying the universal emotions in front of people,
True. Very true.
right? So if I am feeling fearful of something, if there's something which is worrying me, okay, there's no harm in saying that I'm worried, how this pandemic. So, when you say that, okay, I'm worried about this pandemic, okay, but if you leave it over there only, you have created that fear in your child. Okay.
Absolutely.
But if I say that I'm worried about the pandemic and we need to take proper precautions so that we are safe from this pandemic, gives a closure to the child,
True. Very true.
right? So there is no harm in displaying emotions, but give a solution to a negative emotion.
Yes. And
You know
and
that I'm
more so the emotion of the parent towards the child. I
yes,
mean, of course, you said towards the other parent partner, but the child many a times do not connect with the realistic feelings of the parents.
yes,
He's left presumptive of
yeah,
the situation, and he assumes, I don't know whether this would anger mom and dad, or would, and sometimes both individuals have diverse, and that's when the child starts complicating it within his own structure, right?
true,
That how to respond, right?
right,
And then the father says, that he always listens to me, mom says he'll never listen to me. He
right,
therefore, they have to there share their dialogues of how to convince him. So how would you kind of assist them, as you said, like hug your child, have more of touch and tactile senses worked up. Similarly, our voice, our thoughts are necessary. Even if as a parent there are stressful times, I think it's not wrong to share it in moderation with the child.
yes, of course, Not at all. There is no harm in sharing anything with your child. As I said, age appropriate. Okay, we need to see what is our child. You can't sit and cry in front of a 6-year-old saying that, you know what, there's no money in the house and I'm not going to be able to do this, I'm not going to be able to do that, and you don't have any sense. We are not getting onto there, right?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So it is anything in moderation is always very healthy.
Hmm.
Ishita, I would not say that, uh, how are you going to assist your child, and how do parents see that they have been able to assist their child in emotional building up or into bonding with each other? I will give you a very simple tip. Okay, if your day goes without creating a memory with your child, that day
Hmm.
has been wasted.
All right.
Okay, because that child of yours, that age of your child is never going to come back. Okay, so for
Hmm.
example, let me give you an example, that if
Hmm.
my child is 4 years old, okay, 4 years old plus 28 days, 4 years 28 days,
Hmm.
4 years 28 days, I have not created a single memory with my child. Will
Hmm.
my child ever be 4 years 28 days again?
True.
He's never going to be 4 years 28 days again. So you have lost one very crucial day of creating a memory with your child.
Right.
So when you sleep, you have to ask, parents need to ask one question to themselves: what is the memory I created with my child today?
Hmm.
And that's how you'll connect with your child, and that's how your child will connect with you, and he will be able to tell you that I'm not feeling too good today, I am feeling extremely overjoyed, this is taking a toll on me, I hate going to school, I don't like this teacher, this boy is ragging me. Everything he'll be able to tell you because he knows there's transparency of thoughts. My parents are with me,
Hmm.
they are not judging me.
Correct.
Yeah.
So when you say this about creating memories each day and give that value for each
Yes.
day that I spent with my child, we also need to draw a line between pampering and the emotional responsibility,
Of
right?
course, of
So how would you how and let's put some light on the pampering aspect also, or the overindulgence of parents, and let's clarify that aspect as well for our viewers.
okay. Can I share a story?
Yes, sure, of course, stories are always helpful.
Right. So, this is a story about two neighbors. Okay,
All right.
and both have planted a plant in their balcony. Okay, now there is one neighbor who is every day watering the plant, looking after the plant, checking the soil, seeing everything's okay. Okay, and the other one does what is needed. Okay, so once in a day she waters the plant. Once in 10 days she'll add manure to the plant. She'll only do that much. Okay, now there comes a storm one day. Okay, and the storm comes and it disrupts everything. Okay, all around. Now when the next morning when they come out, the lady who was looking after that plant very well, like planting it, like putting water every day, putting it twice daily, putting checking with everything, that plant has blown away and the other plant is yet there, where she was taking care but not, she was not overindulging into it. So that other lady said that I have been seeing, we both planted the same plant together, and I was looking after this plant so well, and you would just do the needful and you never did anything. So how is it that your plant is yet standing and my plant has been blown away?
Mm.
So it was said that that plant where you were looking after it too much, because you were looking after it too much, the roots never bothered to get attached with the soil because you
Okay.
were looking after it,
Okay.
right? And the other one, where once in a day she would water it and she would look after it like any other would one would look, because she was not getting the extra attention, the roots started finding that comfort from the soil, and it started getting attached with the soil,
Hmm.
and that's how that plant stood by there, because the soil was holding it,
Hmm.
right? So if you want your child to be independent, if you want your child to be able to face the world, then you will only have to do what is needed. You try to overindulge and you will see your child swipe up with the wind.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. So this is where I will draw that line saying that, okay, how much you need to do? You need to do what is required. Okay.
Yeah.
What is required? There is no definition of what is required. Okay. So I
Yeah.
would not say there is any definition to what is. Each child has their own needs,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
But
Right.
when does a parent overindulge? When when the parent is feeling guilty that I am not giving enough to my child because I'm doing many other things. Okay.
Hmm.
Other thing is when the parent starts comparing. Oh,
Yes.
she does so much for her child. I don't do anything. Even I need to do this.
All right. Yeah.
Right? So ask
Hmm.
yourself these questions. Am I doing this because my child needs it, or am I doing it because I need it?
Hmm. Hmm.
I need the validation that I'm a perfect parent.
Yes. I think
That
that question will answer most of the problems then.
yes, yes. So you need to do that.
Yeah. All right, Habiba, time would be running out, but then I would want you to answer one more question for our viewers. We all now have fairly understood that the child's well-being largely is based on our dealings, the environment we create at home. Now, one comforting factor that we need to give to the parent is in understanding that all is well with my child. So, are there definitely there are behavior indicators, there are physical behavior indicators, unsaid body languages, and of course in their actions, in their work, we get a lot of indicators by which we know all is well with my child,
Right.
whichever age group, and of course again in the three categories, the indicators would be variable, but at least
Mhm.
let's just give a fair view to the parents so that he or she knows that the child is in the right track.
Okay. Uh, so there are only two things that I would want to say over here. Okay.
All right.
One is that be vigilant about your child's unsaid, unspoken words. Okay. So be vigilant about their body language. Loss in appetite is one of the indicator. Okay. Staying aloof, not talking to people is another indicator. Okay. Thirdly, okay, being excessively angry, okay, is another indicator that things are not really okay with all of them. Okay, these are the three umbrella terms where I would say that yes, your child is not okay. Okay, is when he or she displays this on a consistent basis. Please, if it is happening once in 10 days, it's not something you need to put your alarms on and say, oh my God, something's wrong, this is my checklist. No. If it is happening on a consistent level, you need to pull up and you need to know what is happening with your child. Your child needs somebody to talk to,
Mm.
right? So this is something which you'll have to be completely vigilant about, and you can't just throw it up on saying that circumstances are such, the environment is such, and this is how it is, and everybody is going through this. But what everybody is going through it, not everybody perceives it the same way that everybody is going through it,
Right.
right? I might, and you might, we all are going through the same pandemic, right? But we all have perceived it in different ways. And
Absolutely.
so has the child,
Yeah.
right? So being vigilant about their day-to-day functioning, right? Just being aware. You don't have to act every time he or she decides that I don't want to eat. Okay? You don't have to act if he says I don't want to talk with anybody today,
Yes. Hmm.
right? But any behavior which is not normally displayed by your child, okay, and which happens consistently for 5 days is when you're going to raise your alarm.
Sure.
Okay, yeah. because this pandemic has got us also behaving in very irrational ways at times, right? So
Yes.
to give comfort to everybody, I would say that even I sometimes behave irrational, right? And everybody has the rights to behave irrational, but then my irrational being just lasts for some time and then I'm okay, right? So similarly, give your child that space to be okay. And if you feel that your child is not being okay, is when you need to pull up your sleeves and say, okay, fine, this needs some intervention.
Mm, got it. So I think that was really beneficial, Habiba. Thank you so much for giving us your valuable time and your precious inputs. And I'm certain that the parent community, once they listen to you, would feel much more confident and have more awareness, and the conscious parenting in them would be actually benefiting the children in the present times at home. And thank you, viewers, for joining in. And I'm sure the Expert Talk series will open new avenues of growth in each of your mind. And thank you so much, Habiba. The viewers I'd like to share is we are not bringing the session to an end only with one session of Habiba. This is just the beginning, and we would have a series of talk, and we would take it to higher levels to help each other out. And it's a progress and a learning that we have a set foot in. Thank you so
Can I
much, Habiba.
end it with something that I would really want the parents to take back? Yeah.
Yes,
Uh,
yes,
uh,
please.
so Ishita, you know I love saying stories. Okay, so there is one story which I want to end with. Okay,
Yes, yes,
and that story is in a village there was a very old man. Okay,
yes.
and that old man, he used to be very he used to be able to guide people a lot. Okay, so
Right.
if anybody had a problem, they would go to him and he would find a solution to their problems, and whatever he would say would actually help others. So people started thinking him to be the big guru types, that okay, fine, iske paas jayenge, hamare sab problems solve ho jayenge. Now there are two young men out there who got very jealous about this fact and said that, like, come on, what does he doesn't have answers to all the problems, right? So there will be something which, we want to show the villagers that he doesn't have answers to everything, right? So what they do is that they pick up one. They say they make a plan. Okay, so one of them catches a butterfly. The other says, you're going to hold the butterfly in your hand like this. Okay, we will go to that old man and ask him whether the butterfly in my hand is dead or alive. Okay,
Right.
so and the boy tells the other man that, listen, if he says it is dead, you open your hands and show that it is alive. Okay,
Okay.
and if he says it's alive, you press your hand so that the butterfly dies,
Hmm.
right? So he goes, they go to the man, okay, with one man hand closed, inside the butterfly is there. And they go to the man and tell him that we have a butterfly in our hand, okay? Now you have to tell us whether the butterfly is alive or dead. So the old man says that I can't tell you that, because whether the butterfly will live or die, it's in your hands.
Beautiful.
Okay, so as experts, we might give you so many suggestions,
True.
but ultimately, that butterfly, that child is in your hands. And it's up to you whether that butterfly will live or will go through some emotional damage. Yeah. So
So,
we are here to help you and trying to give you some insights on how we can bring about our emotional child out of this pandemic.
right. So, Habiba, like the wise old man, you too spared the butterfly in the parents' hand and left it at their own choice. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to having you further in the next series. Thank you so much.
Thank
Have
you
a
so
good
much.
evening. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.